What if I told you that sometimes the simplest dishes are the best? We're going to use one pan to save on dishes and make some pasta pomodoro in less than 20 minutes. I'll show you a trick or two of mine along the way. Allez, on y va! To get started, I'm going to grab my 28-inch stainless steel pan. We're going to make the entire dish in this. Teflon would also work great, but I'd be careful with cast iron because it could leach out some noticeable amounts of iron into the acidic tomatoes. We're going to fill the pan about halfway up with water and bring it to a boil. Oh yeah, check this out. Have you ever seen this trick to open a pack of spaghetti? Yeah, you probably have. Anyway, I'm grabbing about 200 to 250 grams of pasta per portion. Imperial measurements are in the description down below. Use rough bronze cut pasta if you want, but this is not a requirement. Any form of pasta will work. When salting my pasta water, I'm keeping in mind that this is a small volume of water, so I'm going to go easy on the salt. And in order for our pasta to fit, we have to... you should have seen your faces. Dear Italians, if your left arm goes numb, contact emergency services immediately. Back to the video. Another advantage of cooking pasta in a relatively small volume of water is that it concentrates the starch, which we need to get a creamy, cohesive sauce. When the pasta is done, I'm grabbing a glass and saving a little bit of pasta water for later. I usually do this in the sink, but no risk, no fun. Oops, looked like a noodle snuck in. Anyway, the rest of the pasta I'll drain into a colander and put my now empty pan back on the heat. A healthy glug of olive oil in the pan, and since we've only got 5 ingredients to work with, the higher quality olive oil, the better the dish will taste, is what someone with money would say. The truly most important ingredient in this dish are the tomatoes. Use any tomato you like, but where I live and in most of the Western world, the only tomato that actually tastes like more than red water year-round are cherry tomatoes. 250 grams of those into the pan, which is still over pretty high heat. I want to give the skin some color up front to A, justify leaving them in the sauce, and B, get some subtle but very welcome roasted flavors throughout the dish. I can also gauge the amount of salt I want very easily by eye when I have them laid out like this. Once the first ones start popping open, you know it's time to add the garlic. Chop and add however much you like, but I prep my garlic, and if you want to know how you can do too, check out the video in the description. These 3 cubes equate to about 5 or 6 cloves of garlic, and I'm just gonna plop them in and keep them moving for about 30 seconds until they start thawing and go golden. It's been about 3 minutes since the tomatoes have gone in and the fond is about to burn, so we need something to deglaze. You could use water or wine, but I prefer to get a potato masher and crush the tomatoes to deglaze with their own juice. You manifestly do not have to use a potato masher for this. You can use a spatula or a wooden spoon, anything, just crush the tomatoes. Make sure you scrape up all the good stuff stuck at the bottom. This is pure flavor, people. Once that is done, I'll put my cooked pasta back into the pan to merge with the sauce. Heat is off and I'll add a conservative splash of pasta water to start with. We can always water it down further, but tightening it back up would mess up the pasta texture. Add a little black pepper to taste and now we toss. No, this does not make the sauce creamier by trapping air bubbles or whatever myth I've heard 20 times on YouTube. But what it does do is cool the pan off quickly, which brings it close to eating temperature, which in turn makes everything tighten up. Now we can add pasta water to get our final desired texture. Once I'm happy with that, I grab a big sprig of basil, layer the leaves into each other, roll it up, and chop it into thin strips, which is also called chiffonade, or how I like to call it, the convenient way to chop a lot of basil at once. Notice how this is the first time this recipe we've needed a knife? If that ain't worth a like on the video, I don't know what is. I'd really appreciate it though. I now add the chopped basil to the pasta and mix it in. The rest heat in the pan is enough to wilt it down and soften it up. If we had cooked the basil the entire time alongside the pasta, it would have turned brown by now and it wouldn't have imposed more flavor than if we just added at the end. I gotta come clean, I'm very bad at plating, but one of the few tricks I know is that piling pasta high instead of wide makes it look more attractive, so that's what I'm doing here. Make sure to spoon every little bit of the sauce on top, it would be a shame to waste it. And sure, let's pretend this is Parmesan and not Grana Padano, because I can totally afford Parmesan. In all seriousness though, you can add any cheese you like, or just leave it as is. It has plenty of flavor on its own. Top up with some basil leaves for pretty, and voila! Pasta Pomodoro. I believe this is the quintessential Italian dish. Few ingredients which all ring true and yet come together into this beautiful balance between the acidity from the tomatoes, fruity notes from the olive oil, and the aromatic dance between the garlic and the basil. It just brings it home for me. Anyway, try it my way or make it your own. All I hope is that you enjoyed this video. If you did, let me know in the comments and subscribe for more home cooking recipes you'll actually want to make on a daily basis. Take care and I'll see you in the next one.